Now that we've finished adding dimensions, it's time to add annotation. I'll start with the isometric view and how it should be labeled. So each view needs a title. This view is the isometric view, and when I create that view, it defaults to add the text. So all I have to do is, what I like to do anyways, make sure the isometric view is the active view, and then I'll go double click this to change the text. So isometric view is what this is actually called, and it must be all in caps. But we got to identify the part number. If I go down to the title block, this is the part -1. So this is the part number. But because this part number is on the same drawing, I only have to call off the -1. If it were a part number on an assembly and it came off a different drawing than this drawing here, or had a different prefix for a part number, you would have to call off the entire part number. In this case, I only have to call off the -1 to represent this particular part number. So I'll slide over here, come up to the isometric view, and double click it, and in the beginning, I will add the -1 and hit a space. So it's a -1 isometric view. Underneath the -1 isometric view, you can hit the Shift Enter button to start a second line. Again, that was the Shift Enter button to start a second line. I'm going to use my caps and type in engineering, reference only. Shift Enter, scale, none. Actually, I think that's no space, sorry. Scale, space, none. And that is how you label the view. I'll select OK. So that view is called the engineering ISO view. Now the frames are kind of getting in my way and kind of annoying to look at. Do you remember how we turned them on? The same process will be to turn them off. Use the View tab and turn off the display frame. Okay, that is how we label the isometric view. There's one more thing I got to tell you. This is kind of ugly. We have to double click on this, and we're going to highlight this part in the tree. Or no, I think we highlight it here. It's so goofy how we have to do this. We got to highlight it here, right click, properties, and change the height of this one. It currently is 3.5. I'm going to make it 7 and select OK. Now when I do that, all of a sudden the views are too close together. So I'm going to have to click on this primary view and turn the frame back on. Click on this primary view and move it to give myself some space away from that isometric view to make room for the dang text. It's so huge. And this is supposed to be kind of directly below that. Okay? I'm going to show you that again, how I change the text height. We're going to double click on this text. Now if I highlight it here in this text editor window and right click, I don't get that properties option. You have to highlight it up here and right click and go to properties up here. So goofy. And I'm just going to change that to 5mm. It's such a small drawing. I'll hit apply, make that look a little bit easier. But this is the title. It needs to be a little bit bigger than the text below it. Kind of like when you read a book, chapter 1 is in big bold text, and then what you're actually reading is in smaller text. I'll select OK. That is how you title your isometric view. I'm going to finish this by turning off the frame just because it's hard to look at. Okay, we got to still title the primary and principal views next.